computer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's September 15th, 2021, and you're listening to What's the Odds with Steve Renazizi. Thank you again for joining us. Brenton Biddlecombe, Lucas Hurl joining us as well. I'm psyched. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm happy that football's back. Excited that we were, not successful. I was successful, very successful in my endeavors in football, fantasy football wise this weekend. But then the news of Norm brought me down a lot yesterday. Just because of a hero dying, and but then today I watched the Mets doc and I'm back up again feeling good because I remember what cocaine feels like in the 80s. And everyone around me, I didn't do cocaine in the 80s, but everyone around me was doing cocaine. I had no idea. Everyone in New York did cocaine in the 80s, probably including Norm Macdonald. So we'll get to Norm in a minute, but let's start with football. The most pressing matter. Unfortunately, we did not win money for Lucas Hurl this week. It was a weird week. It was a very weird week. I don't know if you guys, let's push one thing away. The Bengals covered. I knew they would. It was a closer game than even I thought it would be at the end because I thought they were going to win. Great game.
One of the best games of the week.
Bounce back and forth to that one. The Jets game was so boring that I was like, there's no need to watch this. Watching the Jets game and the Carolina game was like watching an NBA game. You can skip through the first 3.5 quarters unless you have money on it, but the real shit gets down and dirty at the end. And it really didn't, it was like watching paint dry the Jets. So I kept going back to the Bengals. And look, they didn't look, Joe Burrows didn't look perfect, but he looked really good, especially coming off of the injury. And I knew that they would win. I knew it. I knew they would cover, but I'm glad they won in overtime. That NFC division, what is that? The Central? No, the North. It's not good. It's not good at all. But we'll get to it. Yeah. So I'm happy that I covered, but I felt terrible kind of for you guys because your Bills, what happened there? You tell me, because I didn't get much of that game. I saw a little bit of the highlights, but I didn't see what went wrong. In your estimation, what went right and what went wrong? And is it, Lucas, does it feel worse to not win money or have the Bills lose?
Well, it feels real shitty to know you're not going to win money on Thursday night. Once the Bucks didn't cover, I'm like, yeah. So I already kind of got it. The Bills losing feels way worse.
Yeah.
Especially
what happened?
One. The Pittsburgh's D line is so good. They just overpowered Buffalo's O line.
Yeah, their front seven is legit.
Yeah.
They kind of controlled the line of scrimmage, and I think teams are going to be more prepared. DeBoll has to stay ahead. Last year, he switched from a run-heavy team to a pass-heavy team, and no one caught up. And this year, it seems like everyone's prepared for it. So they got to switch something up. Allen wasn't accurate. He didn't have time. They couldn't establish the run. But I will say I did like they were able to stop the run. Najee Harris looked very, very normal. 45 yards on 17 carries or something. So the biggest weakness was strength on Sunday. The special teams looked good other than the blocked punt, but we ran the opening kickoff back to Pittsburgh's 20. Matt Hack had some really good punts. Tyler Bass hit his kicks. So special teams looked good. The defensive line looked good. Wide receivers, they had a couple of drops, but I think Allen and them, they just have to get into the rhythm. They didn't.
Dude, Beasley had a big fucking drop.
Yeah, so
they didn't drop.
They didn't play in preseason. We have 17 games now this year. Chalk that up as let's get the rust off, and I think they come back stronger this week.
Who do they have next week?
Or we play Miami.
In Miami? Or are they on the road?
Yes, it's in Miami. Yeah.
Okay.
I also think the crowd being back really hurt. It hurt Pittsburgh. You could see Ben having a problem with his cadence, but it also kind of, I think, got to Allen.
Ben did look bad. He's old, and he did not look good the entire game. So Pittsburgh's offense was not great. It's just their defense played basically a perfect game.
Even without Bud Dupree, right? Where did he go? I forget.
I want to say the Falcons, but I could be. Let me look.
But it's like they just fucking load on defense. They just reload. It's almost next man up, and they just always have a fucking great defense.
No, Bud Dupree's with the Titans.
Titans, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it was very surprising. I mean, I thought there would be not a blowout, but at least like maybe a 10-point game. But yeah, I guess when you're a good team and you expect to beat a team that's I get not as good as you in what is everyone's expectation, the closer it stays, the harder it gets. You know, and you're like, oh shit, we're supposed to be blowing these fucking guys out. I think that was the same thing that happened on to Tampa and Dallas, which, you know, it was pretty much a pick 'em game the entire way. Yeah. I didn't think anyone, I mean, including me, didn't think it was going to be that close.
Tampa did everything possible to lose that game. They did not play well.
Yeah,
Antonio Brown was the highlight of that team. And Gronk played good. I mean, Dallas has a terrible defense. They have one good pass rusher. They have no secondary. They have no linebacking. It shouldn't have been a close game.
I think the Tom Brady's offense didn't look as sharp as they did, obviously, towards the end of the last year. But I think Dallas's defense is better than it was last year. It was so bad it had to be better. But I think, honestly, Micah Parsons, give him a couple games, and he's going to figure out how to become a really good linebacker. I think he is a good linebacker. I think he's only going to get better, and he shores up the middle of that defense. You know, you can't give enough props, I feel like, to Dak for what he came through and like the way he looked. Dak looked as locked in as any quarterback I've seen in a long, long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, under pressure, getting out of pressure, making accurate throws, moving the ball. I mean, CeeDee Lamb dropped a couple balls that should have been absolutely caught. The one pick that he threw went right through CeeDee Lamb's hand. So, I mean, like, you can't even put that on him. To me, out of all the quarterbacks, and there was some good quarterback play this past week, I think Dak Prescott's on Thursday was the most impressive, followed by Aaron Rodgers, which is like the complete opposite of what, I mean, that was he looked like he was still on drugs in Hawaii with Miles Teller from beginning to end.
See how you're sitting on the couch right now, just slumped like you don't give a shit. That was how he looked after every series going. He wasn't looking on the tablet trying to figure out where I screwed up, what's wrong with this, what are they running against me. He just looks like he doesn't fucking care. He didn't want to be there. He quit basically after the third drive. I mean, he wouldn't really say that, we played. It was just, it was one game. We're fine. It's one game.
And he, by the way, if there's anyone I believe that says that, it's him, because he said it before and they've righted the ship many times after shitty starts. So I'm not saying that they're going to be bad, that they are bad.
And listen, they play Detroit on Monday Night Football. He's going to throw 5 touchdowns.
It's going to be a complete reversal of fortune. Yeah. Although Detroit looked all right. Detroit didn't look as bad.
But Aaron Rodgers now, for several years, whenever they get into any bit of adversity, he quits. He's been quitting on this team. He did it last year against Tampa Bay. They go up 10-0, then all of a sudden Tampa hits him in the mouth and he just folds.
That's the thing, though. If he decides that this team sucks, then they're going to suck, because if he thinks they suck and he's going to put forth that effort, then it's going to be game over. And look, again, he has no loyalty to anyone there anymore besides his teammates. So if he feels like his teammates aren't good enough or they're not good enough and he gives up on them, then that's one thing, but he's not going to fucking go all in for the organization. So it's I think they will right the ship. I think things will be fine. I think they're the best team in that division by far. Minnesota's terrible. I think Detroit beats Minnesota. The Bears, who knows? But
if the Bears start Justin Fields, who knows?
Justin Fields got the touchdown. Didn't he come in for what's his name on the goal line?
Yeah.
And he vultured the touchdown.
And you see how his teammates reacted. They want him to start. I don't know why the hell they're playing Dalton at all. I think they're waiting to play Fields till like week 4 when they play Detroit, or week 5.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't want him to get him wrecked.
But Dalton, I believe Chicago plays Cincinnati this week, so give Dalton his revenge game.
He doesn't throw a pass longer than 10 yards, though. I mean,
he doesn't need to.
I can't name one wide receiver on the team. Can you?
Allen Robinson. One of the best
I
wide
thought he got
receivers
traded.
in the league. No.
I thought he left. So that's why I didn't name him.
Darnell Mooney's pretty good too. And then their tight end Cole Kmet. He could step up and he could be something this year.
Yeah. What was your favorite game of the week? And then I'll get to the Giants because I have to just pace out the anger.
That Vikings-Bengals was pretty good.
That was a good game.
Vikings-Bengals was good. I thought Kansas City-Cleveland was great. I mean, we should just say what our least favorite games were.
Baker Mayfield, honestly, we were talking about quarterback play. I mean, besides the pick at the end, which I know he says he was trying to throw it out of bounds. There's an out of bounds line that's much closer than the one he tried to throw to, regardless of him getting pulled on.
He was in the pocket, so if he didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage on the throw, then it would have been intentional grounding. So I get why he threw it where he was trying to throw it.
Yeah, I think in the direction. I'm saying I think he tried to get it there, and I don't believe that he tried to throw it out of bounds. I think he tried to throw it on the cautionary side of out of bounds, and that all went awry when he got fucking ripped down from behind. But beyond that play and maybe one or two bad passes throughout the game, he proved that that team is legit now on both sides. Their defense is going to take them as far as they can go.
Yeah, they controlled the entire game.
The entire fucking game they controlled from beginning to end, almost to the very, very end. And so, again, you want the win. You want to walk away and go, we beat the fucking champs, or we beat the people that, play for the championship. We can be there and prove it to yourselves. You kind of did a little bit, but I want to still see them, and you'll have an opportunity to have them actually go out and beat Kansas City, because I think they can do it. I really, really think they can do it. Kansas City, to me, is not as a lock as they were the last couple of years. Really, they're a team. I mean, I'm not saying Vegas played great, but there are other teams out there that are we want to go after them. Now, the Vegas game.
We'll talk about the Vegas game. I have a lot of opinions on that.
I see. Now, I only got, because I'm on the East Coast, I got the first quarter, and then it was just I got distracted by other things and then slept. So, I saw highlights. It looked exciting. Derek Carr looked okay. I mean, I'm not extraordinary, although apparently he's fantasy-wise, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he's a top 10 quarterback every year fantasy, right? Numbers-wise?
Pretty much. He's consistent, yeah.
Did Jackson, because, when you look at Baltimore, they're decimated injury-wise already. So did they kind of not look put together? What was the outcome, as far as what you thought?
So here's my issue. I obviously drafted Gus Edwards. I was very adamant about Ravens running backs, and they started Tyson Williams, who I said would have a great week, and he had a great first half. He was averaging 7.2 yards a carry. He had a touchdown on a 35-yard run. He had a couple of catches. I think one went for 24 yards. And then they go up at halftime, completely abandon the run, completely abandon Tyson. They have Lamar Jackson trying to throw, which they can. This is what bothers me. I should have watched the Manning cast. I wasn't aware that was going on.
Me neither.
It seems like it was a lot more fun.
It was.
Why did they promote that more?
They didn't promote it. And I'm sick of watching these commentators tell me who I'm supposed to love as far as players and who's great, because they were just blowing Lamar Jackson, who still can't throw to the outside. He can't throw to the outside, but they have him throwing. They become this pass-heavy team in the second half. They put in Latavius Murray instead of Tyson, so I lose to Lucas in the podcast league. I should have had Tyson get 5 more points, but they put in Latavius Murray. He's falling forward for 2 yards a carry. Lamar Jackson's missing targets, and they let they let Vegas back into the game. The problem too is their defense. They are the heaviest blitzing team in 2020. They were trying to do it again on Monday night. They're running these all-out blitzes, and they don't have a linebacker that's fast enough to cover Darren Waller. They don't have a cornerback that is big enough to cover Darren Waller. So they're sending these all-out blitzes and leaving him one-on-one. First half, they were breaking down. Look, they're double covering him over the top and underneath, and he's still making plays, but he's kind of contained. In the second half, he just went crazy. And Derek Carr just didn't need to go anywhere else. It was literally just him to Darren Waller. I think he had 19 targets.
Brian Greasy and what's the other guy? Riddick. What's his name?
Lewis.
Yeah, Riddick Lewis Riddick. He essentially, to me, they are the most boring of all the people, all of them. I mean, they were like excited that these guys got back in Las Vegas. It was like this, like you could not have a less exciting panel of announcers than for like what they were putting out there. I mean, Bruce Buffer lighting that thing up with the fucking with his whole everything was like huge. And then these fucking stick in the muds, Brian Greasy. Had I known that the Manning brothers were one step away on another channel.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, and that ESPN will never reveal this, but I guarantee you that once next week, the numbers for the Manning watch people will be higher than the actual fucking Monday Night Football.
I hope so. It's the future.
It is terrible what these guys are doing. I cannot listen to Brian Greasy. I cannot. I respect him so fucking little as a player and as an announcer. That I'm like, whatever he says, it means nothing to me. It's like having, Rush Limbaugh back in there. So you have zero credibility when it comes to that to me.
The difference between the two broadcasts are you have these guys who have been established for years, and they have a narrative. They have a producer that says, we're going to talk about this guy, and we're only going to talk about this guy the entire game and how he's the greatest player on planet Earth. Whereas I guess the Mannings, they were breaking things down kind of the way Tony Romo was the first year. Like, oh, this is what they're going to have to run. This is what they're talking about between the coach and the quarterback. That's the defense that they're in, so they should run this. He needs to audible to that. Like, it was an actual
Monday Night
breakdown.
Football is a TV show. It's an entertainment show. They have meetings with the teams previous all during the week, doing produced segments, sit-down interviews, all dealing with publicists. The publicist for each team is putting forth the narrative that they want to put forth that week. So they just go, all right, what bullshit are you going to feed us? Oh, Lamar Jackson's still the face of your franchise. You're not giving up on this year because you still have him. All right, we'll just eat that shit up all fucking game long. And then they don't ever break down, like they never look beyond like what would happen if it didn't go well or he didn't play well, or how do we critique him? What could we look for? The Mannings were just like, it was like watching a really good companion show where you're like, oh, these guys are picking out nuanced shit. They're having fun. They're breaking each other's balls. They know when shit starts to get boring, they fuck around with each other. Like they kept it moving, and it was infinitely more interesting and educational and beneficial to the viewing of the game. It was better, much better. I only watched clips of it, but I can't wait. Is it every week?
Imagine, it's going to be, they're doing it 10 more times, I think. But just imagine if the Mannings had been calling Lamar Jackson shitting his pants last year, how much better it would have been. They
would have known. They go, look, we've all had incidents we've had to run off the field, and we know what that is. Like, I don't believe Brian Greasy ever shit his pants during the middle of a game. Because if he was, he'd be able to put down the fucking clipboard and go wipe his own ass.
Mm-hmm. So 7.6 million people watched on ESPN, 6.9 million watched on ABC, 800,000 people watched on ESPN2, the Peyton.
That's going to grow.
It will grow. Those
you
numbers will flop big time.
Look, we have about 18 million people that listen to this podcast every week, and we're telling you to go watch the Mannings on ESPN2.
I guarantee the number goes up 1 million, almost to over 1 million because of
Thanks to us.
Yeah. The Giants, unfortunately, were not fun to watch. Was exactly what I expected. A dismal offense, a defense that looks good at times.
You need to lead with the news, Steve. Your coach doesn't know the rules.
Well, Joe Judge has been mentored by some great coaches, but I don't think he ever really had to. I think he just assumes someone will tell him everything he needs to know while he's there, and he's just going to continue to motivate, yell, and get these guys pointing in the right direction. But yeah, you can explain specifically the rule that you think that
you don't throw a challenge flag on a scoring play. It's an automatic review. You killed a timeout, you idiot. Learn the rules. You're the head coach of a professional football team.
Yeah, I mean, look, the rules change every single year, and you're supposed to know them. So, yeah, it was a dumb thing to do. It was like calling a timeout when you don't have any. Unfortunately, that was not anything that had to do with them winning or losing this game. The fact that Dave Gettleman drafted Daniel Jones a couple years ago has more to do with them losing the football game, because Daniel Jones seems to want to lose football games. I know he wants to lose the ball. He does not like it in his hands. He doesn't want it in his hands, and that is the problem. He doesn't like the feel of the leather. He doesn't like when it's his responsibility. When he gets handed it and told to run, he runs as fast as he can. Why? Because he wants the ball out of his hand. Okay? That's why he falls. That's why he lunges forward. That's why whatever you see him trying to make some sort of, wow, he's trying to go for it kind of play. He wants the play to be over, and he wants to and he's successful at getting the ball out of his hands way more than putting it into other people on his team's hands. So that was a drive. And you're talking, that's not winning, losing the game. They're not going to, if they score that touchdown, it doesn't mean they're going to win the game, but it's momentum. They were down a score at that point, and they were I think maybe in the red zone, and him fumbling and giving the ball back is just, it's backbreaking. It's almost like you're sitting there, you're going, we've changed our way. It's not going to happen. And as the defense, you must just go, fuck, he's going to fuck this up again. And it's not something that can be fixed the next game, which, let me tell you, you think last week's Denver's D-line with Von Miller was good? We're facing one of the best next week. Or tomorrow. Sorry. Tomorrow. There is no time to correct the mistakes that they made. And this offensive line was terrible. Nate Solder got beat one time that I've never seen. This man was an all-pro. He won Super Bowls, and he let someone got by him. Like he didn't even know, where'd who go? It was like Iceman. Where'd who go? I don't know. No idea. And it's bad. And Daniel Jones is not the answer. And the defense they play as well as they can play, but then once in a while they have these fucking brain farts that they let someone do something huge, and it's a game. It's momentum. And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to lose tomorrow. We're going to lose to a division rival, and you're going to put yourself behind the 8 ball. They might get momentum. They got 17 games, and they may come back and make it somewhat interesting. But the way that they're starting is exactly what every fan that said, no, and they're going to do this, but they knew it was coming. And it was a disaster. Complete and utter fucking disaster. And mark my words, it's not going to get fixed by tomorrow.
May I say, let's take some positives away. I think your defense is still pretty good, so you're going to
Better.
have to lean heavily on them.
Yes.
I don't think you should give up on Daniel Jones just yet. Let's give him a couple of weeks.
We can't, because we have nothing else. Of course.
Him and Sterling Shepard had a pretty good connection.
Great. Sterling Shepard looked great. That's why I drafted him in all my fantasy leagues. We'll get to that. I will
also say that I am loving even more so the Saquon Zeke bet, because that offensive line is not great, and Barkley did not look good when he had the ball.
How could you look good? Where is it? Did you see him pitter-patting along, going parallel along the line? It was like, looking for waves at a lake, looking for big waves at a lake. You're not going to find any. There's no holes. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go.
Is that not what I said a month ago?
I mean,
we didn't see it it didn't count a month ago.
I don't even blame Daniel Jones as much. I think it all went downhill when you drafted the trumpet player to play left tackle last year instead of Tristan Wirfs, who won a Super Bowl. You drafted the guy that was in the damn marching band.
We drafted Odell Beckham, and I thought we should have. Well, we didn't get a chance to get Mike Evans, but Mike Evans is the one I want. I mean, it's like I see.
Imagine the size. If Daniel Jones had Galladay and Evans, he could overthrow them all day and still complete 9 out of 10 passes. That would have been sick. Those two guys together.
To me, I think to myself, I knew it was going to be. In my hopes, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And I don't see the sun coming out tomorrow. I don't.
No, dude.
I truly don't.
Heineke's gonna.
And I don't. I mean,
you guys up.
I thought it was going to be Fitz Magic, and like, but he probably won't play. Or is he not playing 100%?
No,
He's on
may be
IR.
done. Yeah, he may be done for the year.
Oh.
He may be retiring. This might be an injury that he finally has to hang it up.
Well, if it is, if he wants to play, I hope he heals and gets to play. And if he doesn't want to play anymore and he wants to, you throw him in that Manning brothers thing over there, and he's better than everybody.
Yeah.
He'll be better than everybody. He'll be on the number one show on to do with football if he wanted to. But we're going to have to deal with Heine. What's his name?
Heinekens
to be consumed while watching Heineke go down the field. And look, it's not, I don't think they're going to put a 35 spot up on the Giants defense, but I don't see anything getting fixed in 4 days.
It's like a 31-10 game.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least look,
but you know what? You got to factor in it's a division rivalry. So maybe it's closer. Maybe it's more running and grinding out the clock. So you're not going to get embarrassed, but it'll be tough for the Giants to win this game. They don't match up well.
We'll see. It's going to take a miracle. It's going to take 0 turnovers. It's going to take a special teams touchdown or something happen. It's going to take.
You're going to need the black cat to the whole pack of black cats to run across the field. And Barkley is still limited in practice.
Well, I mean, look, I would limit him too. You know who I would not limit? The offensive line. I would extend them. I would push them further. I would have them sleeping in bunk beds with each other, next to each other, holding hands at night while in their dreams to keep them united as a front, even while they're in REM sleep. To sleep, get one of those fucking Grandpa Joe beds from Willy Wonka and get all of them in there and sleep together in one bed till you become a unit. It's ridiculous. And it's on fucking Gettleman. It's on him because he put it in Daniel Jones's lap and didn't fix the fucking offensive line. Mm-hmm. And so this is his fucking problem. And his head probably will roll for it. I don't think Joe Judge deserves to be gone. And I don't think fucking, what's his name? Garrett deserves to get thrown under the bus either. He's got nothing to do with putting together the offensive line. Yeah, he could coach him up better or try to get the best out of him. But, you can't shine shit.
Evan Ingram has been ruled out.
Why not? One of our best athletes.
I was going to say that might help you if he plays, but he's already been ruled out.
Yeah, well, did you see how good Kyle Rudolph looked? Kyle Rudolph looked like he retired 8 years ago and came out. I'd rather have Jason Witten than Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah,
right
his cleats were made out of cement.
Give me a fucking break, man. And he was a good wide receiver, but like he's a backup at this point. You're getting name recognition only.
Yeah.
I did have a fantastic week fantasy-wise, though. Holy fuck.
You did. You killed in Punch Drunk.
Oh, my God. I threw up a 170 spot in Punch Drunk. When you got Kyle Murray and Amari Cooper, it was pretty easy for the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. By Thursday, I was pretty solid. Look, I know what I'm doing. I went all in on Kyler Murray this year. I am all in. All 3 leagues, he is my starting quarterback. I didn't overreach for him. I think I got him in the 4th round or the 5th round in each of my 3 leagues. I feel very confident with the offense that they're running, what they're going to try to get accomplish. Again, you just sit there and you go, I hope he doesn't get hurt. That's it. I hope he doesn't get hurt. But I think based on what we saw this first week, it's going to be that NFC West is going to be high scoring. It's going to be a shootout. I think now that Russell Wilson is allowed to throw the ball a little more, he wants to throw the ball more. I think what do you have? 5 touchdowns, four touchdowns?
I think he had four touchdowns.
So
he had 2 to Lockett, 1 to Everett, and did Metcalf get 1?
He had 2 to Christian Kirk.
Oh, really?
That's Murray. Murray had Christian Kirk.
I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. So yeah, I was very, very excited. All 3 leagues, I pretty much did pretty well. I mean, I can't complain about it. You guys, not so much. Brenton, you're Ryan Tannehill. All I thought was watching Ryan Tannehill go, this fucking guy chose poorly, dude. Real
I chose poorly.
Yeah, by waiting in the. I'm just going to talk about our league.
Okay, listen. Okay, let me pull it up and let's talk about this.
Go ahead. I want to talk about how I got 40 fucking something points from my quarterback. How many did you get from yours? And you tell me where you're making out the other 35 fucking
points. I want
points.
20 points from my quarterback every week. I had injuries.
Okay, time out. How many points did Ryan Tannehill give you?
I think he had 23.
You think?
Oh, he had 16.
Yeah,
I want him to
that's way less than 20.
I want 20 a week.
Okay, great. Well, guess what?
Him.
I had 2 quarterbacks play, even though I only had 1 play, because mine put up 40-something points. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen every week.
It's not going to happen every week.
And you want a guy that's going to average 20 points a week. Well, already you have underperforming and I have overperforming. Great.
Okay, I get that. But let's go back to what you said. I hope he doesn't get hurt. Yeah. I draft for depth. I draft for the future. Congratulations on winning week 1. I want to win week 17. That's what I'm building here. So I take a quarterback in the 9th or 10th round because I just need a guy that'll get me 20 points consistently. I want guys that when the dude gets hurt, I got next man up. Gus Edwards goes down. Tyson Williams gets me 20 points.
When you win week 17 and you end up with a record of 3-14 because of the fucking decisions you made at the beginning, I going into the postseason at 15-2 will turn and laugh at you.
Okay,
You understand?
I look forward to that.
Laugh at you. So I'm just yes, I did overproduce, but your team underproduced. I think your philosophy needs to be reconsidered a bit. I'm just saying.
We'll see at the end of the year, and we'll circle back. Lucas, mark this tape.
Look,
I will.
I think you could say the same thing that people that took Aaron Rodgers. They didn't get what they thought they were going to get week 1. But everything I thought was going to happen happened. I kind of feel a little bit like Jerry Jones, where he's like, remember, he was a little prophetic at the end of Hard Knocks. He's like, I don't know if we're going to win. These are the champions, but I think we're going to get him a hell of a ride. And so I feel like, in a way, Jerry Jones. I love to eat bacon, extra bacon with stuff. And I believe the team that I put together has a real high-powered potential to put some numbers up.
All right. Well, Jerry Jones hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. So best of luck to you on the championship.
Well, unfortunately, Jerry Jones doesn't know how to put together a defense, and I didn't take the Cowboys defense.
Consistent team with a lot of depth. And I'm looking at your team. If people get hurt, if the wrong person gets hurt, the whole thing crumbles.
It's a house of cards built by my own hands, and I trust it. So,
but Brenton, isn't your whole team hurt?
I lost a lot of guys, but guess what? It's still competitive because I draft for depth.
Because like Mostert going out week 1 was the not biggest shock of the whole season so far. Like, who didn't see him tearing his knee right away?
Second carry. Literally the second carry. So
he's done for the year now.
Yeah. Done for the year.
Poor guy.
I know. You jinxed him. Well, before we get to our picks for this week, I want to, and the gambling aspect, let's talk about one of my favorite gamblers / funny.
Oh, shit.
What?
That's why hang on. That's why Lucas brought it up.
What?
You drafted him. So now who's going to be your second running back, Steve? What we were just talking about. That's why Lucas brought him up. I'm looking at your podcast team. Mostert's out.
I was just about to get into my Norm Macdonald shit.
Running back.
Wait a second.
You don't have anybody. You have no one. Who are you going to? You going to start AJ Dillon?
Timeout. Don't.
You going to start Devin Singletary? Wait. You got a great option in Tevin Coleman.
Okay, Devin Singletary, mind you, is projected to have 11.8
projected.
Points. Yeah. And
projected. You go off
considering how piss poor your fucking Bills played last week, I think they're all going to show up, and Singletary has 2 touchdowns. So that fucking Mostert's done for the year, right? Year. All right. I'll figure it. Trust me.
Year.
Somebody will. When you have as much on my team to move around, everybody's going to want another tight end, and I've got 2 great ones. So maybe I move a tight end. There are options, okay? And I will find someone.
You have an okay tight end and a meh tight end.
I got two tight ends who both scored touchdowns, and I don't want to hear it.
Everett caught a touchdown on 2 targets.
Everyone on my fucking team scores touchdowns. Who knows? Maybe what's his name gets hurt this way. I'm not saying Aaron Jones gets hurt, but then what Dylan becomes the main. And next thing you know, I got a fucking running back again.
Well, that's what you got to.
That's how this league works. Don't break my balls and get me excited before I go into my Norm Macdonald tribute.
The house of cards is already crumbling, Steve.
My house of cards is produced by Kevin Spacey, so we'll see what happens at the end. It was a bummer yesterday, a true bummer to find out that Norm Macdonald passed away, because for so many reasons. I mean, number one, he's just look, one of the funniest, and I don't really, I haven't heard anyone go, nah, it wasn't. I mean, if he wasn't your cup of tea, then you were probably someone who didn't have a great sense of humor. It really was simple as that. He was quirky. He was quick. He was smart. He was kind. He was fucking flawed. And, I didn't really get to know him that well at all. I had a couple brief encounters, but one in particular, I was doing a show in Del Mar, San Diego, and it was an outside. It was like a Del Mar music festival. So there were bands there and shit like that. So there was a comedy tent. And I think my show was at 2:00. And so I brought my family down, the kids and the wife, because there was a concert. The Pink concert was that night. So we were going to go see Pink. And I went backstage, and they had a little trailer set up, and you went inside, and my trailer was next to Norm's, who was going to be there that night, I think like 7:00. So I was hanging out with the boys, and I went on to do my show. And when I came off, I came back, and the boys were playing cards with Norm Macdonald. And I guess Kirk Foxen opened for Norm. So Kirk introduced him to my wife and my kids, and Norm's trailer was right now, and they were playing cards. I think they were playing rummy with my kids. And, we talked for a minute. I'm like, thank you so much, Norm, and blah, blah. And my kids didn't know who he was. And so later on, Norm left, and we went to our hotel, and my kids were like, the boys were like, that guy's funny. I was like, no, I know. They go, he is like, are you as funny as him? I go, no, I am not as funny as him. And they were like, he's a weird man too. I go, oh, very, very weird. And they're like, he's pretty good at cards, and he didn't let us beat him. I mean, he didn't let you beat. He goes, no, he wouldn't let us beat him. I was like, yep, that's Norm Macdonald. I'm like, do you owe him any money? And they were like, no, we didn't bet for money because he told us to keep it in our piggy banks. But Norm, you didn't have to know him at a personal level. We know people that knew him on a personal level, and they have unbelievable stories. But just to be able to have him briefly in my life, and to be able to say that some of my hardest laughs I've ever had, biggest gut laughs, have been from stuff that's come out of him. And I posted it earlier, but if you can imagine, he got fired from SNL. Essentially for what they said, basically they told him you're not funny. The brass, the higher ups, not Lorne Michaels, but are the people at the show, but the NBC fucking cunts. So, but it really was because he was writing too many jokes about OJ, and they were ruthless and they were fucking perfect. And so, Uberoff or whatever fucking fired him because he was buddies with OJ. And then, he went on to do other things the next year, and they asked him to come back and host the following year. And so if you get 3 minutes, just listen to his monologue from the first time he went back to host after he got fired. It's fucking genius. It's beautiful. It's funny. It's awkward. He makes fun of the entire place that he's standing in front of, trying to make laugh, which is when you make fun of people, especially the people you're performing to, you guys know, it's everybody laughs because they're like, oh, I know that feeling, but that's not me. He's not talking about me. Very few times do you see a comedian directly go, no, I'm specifically talking about each and every one of you in the audience. And so to go out on that limb, to go I think this is so funny, I can say it right to their face and also know that I'll be able to get them back. That was Norm Macdonald. No, very few people would take a risk like that. And just check it out. It was one of my favorite clips coming forward of all the stuff I've seen over the last 24 hours. Do you guys have anything?
Well, I want to add on the SNL monologue. little fun tidbit for you. So the best line of that is he's basically saying, they fired me. I wasn't even allowed in the building because they said I was so unfunny that I can't be in the building. And here we are a year and a half later. I realized I'm still not funnier.
Yeah.
But the show has gone to shit. The show is so bad. Now here's the fun. You'll hear, if you really listen to the audience, you hear boos.
Yes.
Those were the writers booing.
Yes.
The really distinctive boos were the writers booing him.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He specifically went after the people that you are trying to impress in a way as the host.
Yeah.
You want everyone, you want the people in the room, the audience members to get on your side, but you're only there for a week and you want to impress the people that these are some of the funniest writers, some of the quickest people. You want to make them. And he just, even at that point, after they're like, come back, please. Almost like we're sorry. Like we apologize. And I give, Saturday Night Live the credit for asking him to come back, almost admitting they were wrong. And then for him to kind of make fun of it, and you think that's the end of it. But then to really to take that extra step and dig in and go, no, you're right. I am not as funny. This show, and go, you guys aren't as funny as you honestly think you are. And that's him truly believing that you have to he honestly at that point was like, yes, of course I was always as funny as I was. I didn't get any funnier, but this thing that I held up so high for so long and did the best I could for, that just dropped me, is not as, I don't have to revere it as much as I probably did when I worked here. So fuck it. I don't care. I have nothing to lose anymore. And I'm going to say exactly what I feel in the funniest way possible. When those two things collide, it's unbelievable. And it's a true gift. Very, very, very few have it. I mean, greatest of all time. It's hard to do. But
it's very hard
arbitrary
in this profession to not care.
Yeah.
Not in a way that, obviously he wanted to entertain people and he wanted to make people laugh, but to not care what the immediate audience thought of him is very hard to do. We're all in our own heads, and it's you don't want to bomb, and he just didn't care. No,
didn't care. I saw him bomb. I've seen him bomb. Or not do well, not bomb. Bomb where you're you watch people bomb, you're like, oh, that person's bombing and they're trying hard, but they don't really know what they're doing. Of course, he was doing what he wanted to do. It just wasn't connecting that well with the audience that night, which happened from time to time. But when you have the ability to not let that move you at all, that needle inside of you that goes, all right, maybe I have to kind of figure out a way to make people enjoy me more. It's a hard thing to get in this industry. It was because you just think you're like, oh, I didn't know he was that sick. And so you're hearing him on all his TV appearances and, just the book, his book was one of the last books I've read, one of the funniest books. Another thing is a person that did well in every genre. I could listen to him talk about golf or sports or gambling and always be as interested because he's as funny as he is knowledgeable. His book was brilliant. How do I write an autobiographical book about myself, but also keep it pithy and funny and light and really silly? Well, I'll say everything the complete opposite way that it really happened. And genius, and keep to that narrative and go through it that way. There were, I don't know. There's no one else that I can think of right now with the same exact sensibility. And so, it's tough when those guys go. And I didn't realize how sick he was. And I just hope he's peaceful. That's all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. Anyone want to add anything else?
I will say too, watch his interview with David Letterman the week after he was fired from SNL. It's hilarious. And he just talks about like Letterman, who of course had his beef with NBC. It's just two friends shitting on a rival network. And it's fantastic. Norm's talking about the process of him getting fired. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I'm going to go back and watch it.
It's great. It was
Thank
the week
goodness.
after-
Most is, I don't think the guy ever had one thing to promote on late night talk shows, but he was on them constantly.
No, yeah, he's Don Rickles.
He
He's,
just
you know,
showed up.
Don Rickles. You were happy when you saw him in Toy Story because you were like, oh, because he like, yeah, I'm happy to see him, but like he never was on any of the late night shows to promote really anything. You weren't like, oh, he was just because he was one of the funniest people in the world, and it didn't matter what you talked about. He was going to have a funny take on it, and that was Norm the same way.
Can I tell 2 quick stories about Norm?
Sure.
So these both happened at the Robin Williams Memorial at the Comedy Store. This was 2014, I want to say. And Cassie and I had just started dating, and I brought her, and we were sitting in the very, very top back booth. And Michael Richards snuck in the back and sat right next to her. So we're sitting in the booth with Michael Richards, and Norm goes up to speak, and he's talking about Robin, and he's saying, you know, I came from a different age where I feel very fortunate that there weren't cell phones, there weren't cameras, everything wasn't constantly being recorded, because Robin, he was a guy who had no filter, but he would churn things in and spit things out that were just these wonderful, beautiful, amazing, funny things. Whereas I have that same filter, but it spewed out some of the most horrible shit you could ever imagine. Right, Michael? And he points to Michael Richards, who's sitting in the back. And the whole place, they didn't realize he was there. And they look and they see that it's him. And it's just like, I don't know. It wasn't like.
Do you think Richards
can't explain the laughs and the groans, the combination of the noise that the audience, it was just a noise that I had never heard an audience make before.
was Richards in on it, you think, or no?
I have no idea. Probably not.
How would Norm have seen him?
He must have seen him as well.
That's great.
But then the other story that I can't remember if it was him that told it or someone that knew him really well. When he was a young comic in the 80s in Canada, he signed up for a talent show, and he signed up as Canada's most renowned bird impressionist. And so he goes on stage. No one knows who he is. And he goes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, first for you, here is my impression of the Blue Jay, and just starts screaming into the microphone. And then finishes, and he goes, okay, now here's a robin, and does the exact same scream. And he just keeps doing bird after bird, the exact same impression. And then I guess the guy who was running the show off stage is going, get off the stage, get up. And he just, oh, it seems like they want me to go longer. So here we go, my own encore. And they had to take him and literally pull him off the stage to get him to stop screaming bird sounds.
I mean, yeah, like genius, dude. And thank God we have YouTube, and thank God you have the ability to go back and look at a lot of these clips because the fucking internet exists. But yeah, one of a kind. And not afraid to fail, not afraid to fall on his face, which is beautiful and always fun to watch. Yeah, rest in peace. I know he's got some kids, so I hope that they're my prayers are with them and the comedy community. You know, it's tough. It's tough, guys. Fuck. All right, let's turn the fucking channel for a second. The Mets doc. Did anyone watch it? Once Upon a Time in Queens.
Baseball's over, you guys. It's all about football.
It's not, dude. We still have the most fun part of the year coming up, the playoffs. Yeah, the doc was good, dude. So far, so good. I enjoyed the first 2 parts. It's nice because I remember that like this was 86. I was 9 years old. Jonah's age. There is photographic evidence. I was kind of a Mets fan. I went to Mets games. My mom's stepfather took me to games. My step grandfather would take me to games, a couple of games at Shea. My dad was too busy to take me to Yankee games. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll watch both. And that team was fucking exciting and weird. And, you know, like they were not the Yankees. Like they used to light like their shoes on fire. They used to roll up matches into gum and make like a little you know, put like a bunch of matches together and then put it around, gum around it, and then put it on the back of your shoe. You wouldn't even notice, and then light it on fire. And next thing you know, your fucking foot's on fire. Like they were wild. And so that's in the dugout. They were, I mean, it gets pretty graphic. And so far It's not The Last Dance, but I can tell like they're trying to treat it as such.
Mhm.
Lenny Dykstra is awesome. There is no one else like Lenny Dykstra. Lenny Dykstra. First of all, did you know he gave himself the name Nails? The nickname? He gave it to himself. Does anyone know if is Gary Carter dead or is he alive?
Let's check.
Because I thought I don't know if you saw this, Lucas, like the voice of Gary Carter. So I don't know if he refused to sit down for this thing because he realized now looking back on it, he was the nerd.
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's
Okay.
dead.
Well, that's probably why he didn't do it too. Probably why. The main reason I would say is because he's dead.
They tried to talk to him. It didn't go well.
Yeah, I think his widow's in it. Did it say widow? Should I have seen that? I think maybe I don't know if it said ex-wife or widow. Anyway, I'm glad they got the players' perspective. It's pretty in depth. It gets into like the juicy shit. Their backgrounds, Doc, Strawberry. So I highly recommend checking it out. I don't know. I think part 2, 3, and 4 is tonight. I don't know how many there are, but I'm into it. I'm watching it. What show were you talking about, Lucas? You were saying?
Oh no, the impeachment show on FX, the Bill Clinton, Monica, Ryan Murphy show. It's fantastic. They're 2 episodes in.
Really?
The last episode was like an hour and a half long, but it's the casting is brilliant. Like Clive Owen, I didn't think would be able to pull off Bill Clinton, but you put him in makeup, he looks just like Slick Willie, and
really
his impression is like the right kind of creepy, you know. I gotta say though, that the only casting I would have improved is Monica, because I always thought Monica was pretty attractive, and the girl that they got to play her is a little pudgy, little just like
real. Like Monica Lewinsky was like a lot. I remember she wasn't like no guy was like, oh, I see what like he had what are you gonna do? She's so hot. But everyone was sort of like, yeah, I'd give her a fucking shot at the title. That's kind of the way she was, and that's what it is, dude.
Yeah. And then the Linda Tripp is so unlikable. But this second episode, they're kind of giving her some more human characteristics. But you see just kind of how much of a conniving bitch she probably was. Well, and just every office has that like overweight, gossipy woman that.
I enjoyed the OJ one immensely. So if it's anything like that, I'm in. I'm gonna check it out. Yes. Ryan Murphy does those, right?
Yeah.
He loves. Is Sarah Paulson in it too?
Yeah, she plays Linda Tripp. So she puts on a suit, a fat suit, and nails it.
She's perfect every time. I'm gonna check it out. What else? Oh, have you heard? Speaking of TV, there's this new show. I don't even know I think the premise is that they're going to try to spotlight, I don't know, do-gooders, people that are into fundraising and community outreach and things like that. It's Julianne Hough, and 2 other people that were going to do the show. I think, what's Joe Jonas's wife? I don't know. It's a couple. It's beautiful people. 3
the
people.
Girl from Game of Thrones.
So there's a couple. If you look it up, you see what I'm talking about. So essentially, I think what's going on is they announced yesterday that they're doing the show. It's spotlighting people that have done good deeds for other humans. And so they filmed it. It's already done. But because she is not a philanthropist, people are outraged that Julianne Hough is hosting this show. So much so that she has had to apologize for, she has said, all I want to do is spotlight people that are doing good deeds. And because she's not like a complete giving herself to, another cause, she's been lambasted and had to tell people she's not an activist. She's like, look, I'm just trying to do basically I got offered a TV show. And so I think they're not even going to show the show now. And then now they pulled up, I guess she went a couple years ago as Orange is the New Black, one of the girls from Orange is the New Black for Halloween, and she had blackface on. So that's now all over the place. And look, I'm not here for Julianne Hough. But I don't understand what's going on when what do people now expect when they watch TV? Like actors are out there playing versions are other people. Like even hosts are just like beautiful people. Like, do you really want to watch a show about activists hosted by a fucking true activist? Do you really know what activists look like? They're not good looking people. Like Julianne Hough is a good looking person. That's why she's hosting the show. They didn't have like Harvey Weinstein come out and host the show. It's like they just had a pretty girl that wanted to do the show. I don't understand it at all. Have you guys heard anything about this?
No, you're telling us for the first time.
Well, it's wild to me.
Sounds ridiculous.
And I don't know why I chose Julianne Hough to go out on a limb for as far as cancel culture is concerned. But
yeah,
I think
is she your backup running back? What's going on? She's done, dude. She's done. She's done. Mike Richards, the guy that hosted Jeopardy. It was I watched the first one. They cut the whole beginning around. Like, done. I'm not. What he said was what he said. I'm never going to host anything ever again. Not based on what I've said on this show. What chances do you ever have? I don't know what these people are looking for or what kind of TV you want to watch. You want to watch ugly people all day long? Is that what you want to watch? Activists are genuinely not good-looking people. People that you do not desire to be around and or look at. So have a good-looking person like Julianne Hough introduce us to these uggos so we can, stomach them and learn about the good deeds they've done. What is the problem with this fucking process? What have we lost sight of here? What is wrong with this? Does anyone, what chance do people have going forward? A beautiful girl like Julianne Hough, what chance does she have now? What is she going to do now? Start an OnlyFans page?
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah, she'll find her way.
I'm sure she'll be
okay.
Fine. It made no sense to me. I don't even know what you have to be to host a show. Are they going to go out to Steve Harvey? Like, what sort of family? What family feuds has your family gotten into? Are they going to pick that apart? Are they going to pick apart the fact that his daughters every week there's a different person being linked to her? That's got to be weird for him. But I'm sure he doesn't want that brought out to the public that your family's a fucking a shitstorm right now. Get your own family together before you start dealing with other family feuds. That's what we're going to that's where we're heading towards. And it's I don't know. It stops with fucking Julianne Hough for me. She's really hot, but I don't even know. She's super hot. And that's literally the only reason the whole article, because I go, who is this? What is this show about? Oh, she's so hot. I'm going to watch it.
She's so hot. You just became an activist.
Yeah. She got me involved in a movement that I've also been a kind of a part of, but I didn't even realize till she brought it out with her hotness. And then speaking of righting some wrongs, I don't know what Steve Stricker and the captain of the U.S. Ryder Cup men's team in golf was thinking, leaving Patrick Reed off the team, but it's not going to go well next week. I think USA is going to lose, and I don't like saying that, but I think they're going to wish that they had chosen to take Patrick Reed over one of the guys that was. Some guys don't even have any Ryder Cup or Presidential Cup experience, so I would have taken out either Daniel Berger or Scotty Scheffler and put on Patrick Reed. But either way, I'm going to be in Wisconsin next weekend, in Milwaukee, doing shows at the brand new Milwaukee Improv. Tickets at improv.com. Thursday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. And then Sunday, I'll be in Valparaiso at the Market Theater in Valparaiso with Jason Tebow. That's just one show. I believe the show's at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Tickets at the Market, valpo.com. And next month, stand up live in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Copper Blues. The last weekend in October, and the weekend before, Appleton, Wisconsin, the 22nd, 23rd. The comedy, what's the name of the one in comedy? Sky
Comedy on State or Skyline?
No, Skyline Comedy Club in Appleton, Wisconsin. Those will have on my website by the end of the day, steverenazizi.com. Do you guys have any dates you want to plug? We should do that now. before we get to our picks?
Brent and I next month, Ohio. Doing a
Oh,
week.
shit. With the
Come
Wheeze,
through.
right?
The
Mhm.
Wheeze, baby.
Fuck
My
yeah.
family already got their tickets.
Which
Believe
part of
it's-
Ohio?
All of it.
Columbus, Toledo, Cincinnati. Are we going to Cleveland?
I thought we were. I thought it's like I think we're going through the whole state. It's like October 13th through 18th.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find tickets? At thewheeze.com?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably polyshore.com.
All right. All right, let's get to our picks. Big week. We
Oh,
got to try
boy.
to make some money.
And again, I hate doing this on Wednesday.
You guys
because
lost.
A lot can happen between now and kickoff.
Hold on, timeout. You guys lost your game. The Bills. Well, the Bills
Yeah.
game was whose pick?
That was mine, but I don't think Lucas will
Oh.
ever be angry at
No,
me
I know.
taking the Bills.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought I took
Oligny
it,
took
right?
Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Oligny took Tampa. We
And
lost
what
that
was-
because they
What
didn't
was the
cover
third
6.5.
game? What was the fourth game?
I think I took the Panthers.
You took the Panthers, and I don't know if they covered. I think
I
it
don't
was
either.
a 6.5 spread, and they won by what, 6 or 5?
Yeah.
So Steve was the only one that got his correct.
Can we pull that? Let's pull that clip right there.
Okay,
That's the
get
new
that
intro.
audio. Go ahead and
Yep.
get the audio. Steve was right this week. Congratulations.
So I guess I'll let you guys go first. I have a couple ideas, but and again, which one are we using? So we're all on the same page. Draft.
Well, BetDSI is the only one that seems to want to take my money and let me deposit. So
Okay.
we are at BetDSI right now.
Great. I will pull up my lines. If you guys have a game that you would want to start off with, or do you want me to start first? It's up to you.
Lucas, you may go ahead. if you
Okay.
want.
I am looking at the Bears over the Bengals. The Bears are -3. I think they cover.
Okay. Bears over the Bengals. Bears are at home. Bengals coming off a win. Bears coming off a loss.
The Bears look good. The Bears didn't look terrible though, honestly, against the Rams. I mean, considering they're playing a home opener in a new stadium, first time with fans. David Montgomery had 100+ yards rushing. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, can we talk about Stafford is just a very minor upgrade, but they were acting like the Rams had already won the Super Bowl.
Well, he's a 12-year vet. I mean, it's not like this guy has been around for a
but-
long time.
You know, I never was a fan of Goff, and I probably have talked poorly about him a lot on this podcast, but Goff had better stats this week. And Goff was 42 or 46-20 with the Rams. So it wasn't like he was a total loser. So Stafford had 2 big passing plays that were both blown. One was blown coverage, and the other, they just forgot to touch Van Jefferson when he hit the ground, and he got up and ran in for a touchdown. So Stafford's not going to turn the ball over as much, but he's not like a crazy upgrade. So the Rams, I still think, are a beatable team. And the Bears played a pretty solid game with Dalton, who is at this point what kind of what Drew Brees was last year. He's just kind of in there till the next guy takes over.
Yeah, no, I think Stafford is obviously a step up, but he's played great in Detroit for years. So it's not like has another level you're going to get to. He's just going to have he's going to have a better offensive line and more playmakers to throw the ball to. And a more a coordinator that has like an open, like throw the ball, let's move it, concept. So I think that, that's the only reason. It's not like he got way infinitely better. He's just the same guy.
So Lucas, you want the Bears -3?
Yes.
Oh, all right. That's one. You want me to go?
Go ahead.
We didn't talk about Mac Jones last week, but Mac Jones looked pretty good for a rookie quarterback. He's got quick decision making. He throws the ball accurately. I don't think he turns the ball over at all this week again. I think the Belichick with another week gets that offensive clicking a little bit better. Obviously, the defense is going to be pretty good. And he has an ability to make not only division rivals look pretty bad most of the time, especially young quarterbacks that don't know exactly what they're doing, a la Wilson. And I think it's going to be a 3+ turnover day for Wilson. And I think that the Patriots easily cover the 6 points against the Jets.
Okay. I mean, there are some layup games here. You got the Broncos will just destroy the Jaguars. You've got I like the Cardinals over the Vikings. I think the Seahawks are going to be able to throw all over Tennessee. Tennessee's secondary is maybe one of the worst in the league.
What happened there?
They weren't good last year.
Yeah, they weren't good last year, but they're really not good this year. So I think Seattle at home, 5.5 points. But this is interesting. If I go, apparently there's another tab that I wasn't aware of on desktop that I can go into, and we can actually, they give you the spread, it's 5.5, but there are different spreads that you can take at different rates. So we could take them -6.5 for plus 107, -6 for plus 100, or you can go all the way down to -3.5 at minus 139. But I think I'm going to go Seattle wins by a touchdown, -6 for plus 100. So we're going to put $50 into this thing, and we are going to win $370.20.
There we go.
That's Chicago -3, New England -6, and Seattle -6.
I love it.
We just need to get on the board.
There's something about me that wants to take the Saints, but I feel like the Saints in Carolina always kind of play down to Carolina. They have a tough time winning in Carolina.
But guess what? Jameis Winston is the truth.
Another guy that looked good this week. He looked.
Can we pull back a month
talent-wise
ago when I said Barkley was not going to do well and Jameis Winston looked like he was going to be a Super Bowl quarterback?
Yeah, week 1.
He fixed his eyes.
Week 1. Pace yourself. There's 16 more weeks after this, okay?
Are you
Don't blow your
talking to
load
me or are
week
you
1.
talking to your fantasy teams?
No, my fantasy team is fine. I keep blinders on
You just
them.
lost your running back. You got no one to be your RB2.
Well,
You're in trouble. You
as soon as
better
I get
start
off this
making some
fucking
moves.
shit call with you guys, I'm going to go back to the drawing board here. All right,
Look, man, you're the hare. I'm the tortoise.
Here's the deal. I'm going to win again this week. I don't even know who am I playing this week. I hope I'm playing one of you fucksticks.
No, for some reason we keep ending up in different divisions. So like me, Lucas, and Oligny are in one division, and you're playing most of your games against the listeners. So I have Oligny this week, and you have Fear Boners, who is projected to beat you by 22 points because you have no running back.
Well, I'll get that fixed by tomorrow, don't you think, asshole face? Oh, God.
Go ahead and put Singletary in there. He'll get you your 11 points, and you'll still lose by 15.
I beat Mark Ellis last week in the Comedy Store League. God damn, dude. This is going to be a rough year for everyone I'm playing against. Look, I'm excited about another week. Tomorrow, after tomorrow when the Giants get destroyed.
Tomorrow's.
I'm going to do.
Maybe don't even watch it.
I smoked a pork tenderloin on Sunday. It was delicious. It came out delicious. I did that during the first half of the Jet game. This week, I'm going to do some salmon and maybe a little bit. I'm going to dab into some prime rib. I'm going to try to do some prime rib on the smoker. So that's going to be this Sunday's menu. I'll let you know how it goes. Anything else you guys want to bring up, talk about?
Apparently, MetLife Stadium during the Giants game, there were maggots in the ketchup dispenser. So I have a Twitter video here if I can share the screen.
Absolutely. We want to see that. We cannot not see that. We have to. Bad fan experience week 1. Welcome back, fans. Maggots.
You had a year and a half to clean it out.
Wow. And that's in the ketchup.
That's in the ketchup. They said it was just one container. They threw it out. But that was the Broncos Giants game week 1.
Well, that guy looks like he got there early. So at least they got the problem with taking care of real early. I don't know if they just were like, look, just use the ones from 2 years ago. And then the maggot guy goes like, hey, there's maggot. And you're like, all right, well, we got to clear that out. Good thing we did that early. I don't know what's worse. Would you rather have maggots in your ketchup, or what stadium was it where I think it's Washington FedEx, where the rainwater was, or the sewage water was dripping onto the people's seats. So they had to It was right in front of Dan Schneider's box. So he switched. He actually upgraded them to a box that wasn't being used and brought all the fans up there. But it was like they said later on it was just rainwater, but the fans there, it was coming from like a pipe. So they thought it was sewage water. So sewage water or maggots. Welcome back to the NFL.
And that was in Washington?
Yeah, that was in Washington.
Yeah, they're the Washington sewage team.
Yeah, their names are finalized.
Rename them.
Year. What are they going to be? Is it done? I know they had the finalists down, I think.
Oh,
one
I
of
wasn't
them's
aware.
Like Hog Wild. There's like 5 names.
And that's in reference to the old Hogs, of course. Because I like football team.
The Holy Hogs. I would think one of them had to do with hogs.
Okay. I could get behind that. Let's see here. Washington team names.
Finalists, yeah. What were they again?
Let's see. All right. We got Red Wolves, Red Hogs, Armada, the Presidents, the Brigade, the Commandeers, and the Defenders.
Yeah.
Hate all of them.
Yeah.
Red Hogs. I don't know why they did big Red Hogs.
That sounds offensive, but
it
I don't
does.
know. Yeah.
Why are we putting color involved in this?
And are they going to change the color of their uniform? Because I like the color of their uniform, but it's not red.
It's maroon.
Yeah.
Look, this is a problem that we won't be able to solve today. But tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, for more riveting breakdown of what the Washington Football Club's new name should be. That's the podcast for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We will try to hopefully win you some money, Lucas. I'm rooting for you every single weekend. I'm rooting for Brenton to get his shit together. Let's hope the Giants can just make it respectful tomorrow and nobody gets hurt. That's all I care about. Nobody gets hurt. Please tell someone else about the podcast, rate, subscribe, let other people know if they're interested. We would love to have them. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.